Hi everyone, Mr. Overon here with Mr. Overon's Tarot Reading Services. And today I am making Cascarilla, which is powdered egg shells. And what you use these for are for protection. You can use it for binding, like you're encapsulating something or someone. But it's usually used for protection, and I've seen a lot of voodoo priests and priestesses and people like that use Cascarilla as a medium for making chalk. I may do that. I've never really made chalk before, so I'm not sure if that's something I'm going to do in the immediate future, but for right now, that's what I'm going to be doing, is just grinding up the egg powder and putting it into a jar and showing you the process. So what I have here is 3 dozen eggs. They all went bad in my refrigerator because, well, I'm just not that big of an egg eater or whatever. So what I did is I emptied them all out and washed them and got all the gunk out of it. So yeah, here's what I'm gonna do. So to do this, I like to do mine with a mortar and pestle. You could put it in like one of those little ninja blenders or something like that and do it a lot quicker. Even a coffee grinder would work really well. But just to be kind of old-fashioned, this is how I'm doing it today for the sake of the video. So follow along with me, and as always, I'm at my little handy-dandy working surface here. So I got my mortar and pestle right here. So here's my mortar and my pestle. And so what you want to do is just grab an eggshell and crunch it up. Now I've seen people who have put their eggshells in the oven just to kind of kill any like little bacteria or what have you off. I've had these eggshells soaking in water and then drying for 2 or 3 days now, so they should be pretty well taken care of. Now, like I say, you don't have to do this in a mortar and pestle. I'm just doing it for the sake of the video. Doing it in a mortar and pestle, you're not going to get as fine of a powder. If you can see that, yeah. It's still pretty large, but it's going to work for what I want to do with it. And really, that's just to replenish my stores. One thing I like to do while I'm grinding this up is I like to envision the purposes that I'm going to use this for. That keeps me from having to bless it later when I transfer it to my jar. And I just got a regular old jar here that I'm gonna put this stuff into. But as I'm grinding and pushing this into, or pushing my pestle into the mortar, I'm just thinking about like the protection and the abundance and whatever, you know, just putting good positive intentions into it so that when I go to activate it or use it later on in a spell, it will already be pre-charged with all that. Now if you, that was just 1 eggshell, and that's given me almost a tablespoon. So I can only imagine how much I'm going to have after I've crunched all this down. And if you follow me on Instagram, you will see the prequel video to this video, where I was still sitting at the sink washing these out and crunching them, and cracking the shells and the big bucket of eggs that I had. You never really think about it, but once you cracked open 3 dozen eggs and you look at it all, it's pretty freaking spectacular to think that had those been left to fertilize, that would have been a whole bunch of little baby chickens. So this is all you do. You just sit there, grind, and pour. This is the only size of a mortar and pestle that I have. I have a wood one, but I don't like to use it because a lot of times I found that in the past, using my wooden one, stuff gets ingrained in the wood, and I don't like doing that to it. So it's mainly for display. And even crunching these down right now, I think that they're still too wet for me to be doing this with, because they're not going into a powder real easily. When you have let them dry for a significant amount of time, they powder up a little easier. You know, like I said, some people dry them out in the oven. I didn't do that. I went straight from cracking them to washing them to doing this. Again, this is just my way of doing things. You do yours. Your magic is your magic. And I'm not going to sit here and do the whole amount, but I'm going to do at least this last one right here. And I'll charge this bit of eggshell just so you get a kind of an idea of what to say, or at least what I would say. Like I said, as I'm crunching it up right now and going around and around in my mortar and pestle, I'm visualizing the intent of protection and abundance and things like that. So when I have it all put together and completely filled up my jar, it will already be imbued with that intention. But what I would do to empower this is think of like an energy ball in my hands with pure intent and love and protection and things like that, and I would put it into like say I'm holding the ball, I would just put it right into the eggs and then cover it, and I would say something like, Great Goddess, Mother Divine, as I crush these eggshells, please help me in imbuing them with the intent of protection and bringing abundance and peace, happiness, prosperity into my life. As so above, as so below, so shall it be. And as I said each one of those words, I was picturing peace, and I saw like a peace sign flow down my arm, from my third eye, down my arm, into my hand, pushing into this, so it was like a peace sign going into it. Prosperity, I saw a money sign and it going into this. Protection, I saw like a circle with a line through it, like no bad can come to me. So I'm just pushing that, and I keep iterating that over and over in my mind and visualizing it as I'm crushing it and putting the shell into powder. And if you watch, I go clockwise, and then I switch it up, and I go counterclockwise. The clockwise motion, I'm picturing all of that good protection and abundance coming to me. Then I slam it down, go the counterclockwise, and I'm thinking of all the protection and the negativity being repelled from it. Again, this is what I do. So, there you are. Powdered eggshell. More powdered eggshell. And there I have the start of my cascarilla. So, yeah, if you guys have any additional questions, comments, or concerns, if you make yours a little bit differently, I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comment sections down below. If you'd like to see me cover a particular subject or whatever in one of my videos, please let me know. Check me out on Instagram. I'm constantly posting pictures of my magical workings and so on and so forth on there, and just look up Mr. Overon, that's MROVERON, and you'll find me. If you want to shoot me an email, it's mroveron@gmail.com. Check out the website for a tarot reading or spell casting, and that's mroveron.com. And as always, thank you for watching, and if you haven't done so, please like and subscribe, and I will see you all later, my little witches. Bye!